My best friend gave me 3 paintings for the new year. One for wealth, one for bearing a healthy son, and one for a long life. Delighted, I hung them all up immediately, thinking they were a great way to kick off the new year. But on New Year's Eve, my design studio was accused of plagiarism, and I was sued for millions in debt. Meanwhile, my previously unknown best friend became a genius artist overnight, with her paintings selling for a fortune. I tried to handle the crisis 7 months pregnant, but my baby, who had been healthy at every checkup, suddenly died, its heartbeat gone. Then all my organs began to fail overnight. My hair turned completely white, and even the most advanced medical technology couldn't find a cause. As I lay dying, my best friend came to visit me in the hospital. She was radiant, looking 10 years younger. She took my husband's hand and placed it on her own belly. I have some good news for you. I'm pregnant, and Ethan is the father. I know you lost your baby, but don't worry. I can give him another one. We're planning to have the wedding on the day of your funeral, to celebrate your death and our new beginning. My eyes widened in helpless fury, but I couldn't understand how she had done all this. Then I woke up, and I was back. On the day my best friend gave me the paintings. Chloe, I painted these New Year's pictures especially for you. You should hang them up right away, for good luck in the new year. My best friend Jenna stood before me with a sweet smile, holding out a few paintings. But my eyes flew open in horror, and I instinctively took a step back, as if I'd seen a monster. I shakily touched my stomach. The baby was still there, safe. I had been reborn. I was back at the moment Jenna gave me the New Year's paintings. In my past life, Jenna had also given me 3 paintings, one for wealth, one for bearing a son, and one for a long life. It doesn't feel like the new year without decorations. Put these up for a fresh start, she had said. I painted them myself. It took me days. I hadn't doubted her for a second. I was touched that she'd gone to the trouble of making such beautiful paintings for me, and immediately hung them on the wall. But that New Year's Eve, as I was preparing dinner, I suddenly got the news that my studio's work had been exposed as plagiarism. I owned an architectural design studio, and one of my designs had won a gold medal at an international competition 2 months prior. But now someone had come forward, claiming my award-winning work was stolen. That design was my masterpiece, something I had poured my heart and soul into for months. Forgetting all about dinner, I rushed to the studio to find evidence to clear my name. But all the related files were gone, vanished as if into thin air. The plagiarism accusations, however, went viral, with an eerie intensity sending shockwaves through the industry. Within hours, clients were calling to question me and cancel their contracts. Some even threatened to sue me, leaving me on the hook for millions in debt. As I was dealing with the chaos, a sharp pain shot through my stomach. My baby, who nurses and doctors had always praised as perfectly healthy and active, had suddenly died in my womb, its heartbeat gone. I refused to believe it, but the doctors told me it wasn't just the baby. My own organs were also failing rapidly. Overnight, my hair turned completely white. The hospital called in specialists for emergency consultations. But even with the most advanced medical technology, they couldn't find the cause of my illness. Like an old woman whose time was up, I could only survive on a ventilator, clinging to the last few days of my life. That's when Jenna came to see me. She looked 10 years younger, radiant and stunningly beautiful, right in front of me. She took my husband's hand and placed it on her stomach. Chloe, we're best friends, so I wanted to share my good news with you first. I'm pregnant, and the father is Ethan. Even though you lost your baby, I'll give Ethan a healthy one. Oh, by the way, we've already decided. The wedding will be on the day of your funeral. That way you can be part of our happiness too. A celebration of your death, and the start of a new life for me and Ethan. My eyes widened in rage and despair, unable to comprehend how she had orchestrated it all. I didn't expect to open my eyes again. Back on New Year's Eve, before any of it had happened, looking at Jenna holding the paintings, with that innocent smile on her face. A cold sweat broke out on my back. Looking at the 3 paintings she offered me, I just couldn't accept them with the same joy I had last time. Seeing that I wouldn't take them, Jenna's lip trembled. She looked down, her voice catching. Chloe, do you think the paintings are ugly? Or is my gift too cheap for you? I painted these with my own hands. Each one is a blessing for you. Please just take them. I dug my nails into my palms, forcing myself to stay calm as I coolly studied her expression. We already have our good luck charms up, and these paintings don't really match the decor. Jenna, I appreciate the thought, but you should take them back. Sure enough, a strange look flashed in Jenna's eyes. She wasn't giving up. I stayed up for nights to paint these for you, and you won't even look at them. Do you hate me that much? I looked at her conflicted. Jenna, it would be a waste to give them to me. Why don't you give them to someone who would appreciate them? Jenna bit her lip on the verge of tears. But I only want to give them to you. This is my gift for you. How could I give it to someone else? Chloe, are we not best friends anymore? You won't even accept the paintings I worked so hard on for you. With that, she pushed the paintings toward me, again trying to force them into my hands. It was clear she wouldn't back down until I took them. My whole body tensed up. I instinctively pushed the paintings away. Then I quickly put my hands behind my back, my voice sharp. I already told you I don't want them. Jenna quickly picked up the paintings, looking at me with suspicion. Chloe, why are you so against these? You've never been like this before. My heart skipped a beat. I knew my reaction was too strong, and she was getting suspicious. Just as I was trying to come up with an excuse, my husband Ethan walked over, sensing the tense atmosphere. Jenna's face lit up when she saw him, her eyes welling with tears. Ethan, I brought some New Year's paintings for you guys. I worked so hard on them, but Chloe doesn't like them. Are they really that ugly? Ethan immediately took the paintings and shot me a disapproving look. Chloe, this is Jenna's thoughtful gift to us. There's no need to hurt your friendship over it. Besides, with the baby on the way, they're perfect. He walked into the house and started to hang the paintings on the wall. I stared at the little figures in the paintings, but all I could see was my own miserable fate from my past life. A rush of blood went to my head. I charged forward, snatched the paintings, and threw them into the barbecue pit we had set up in the yard. Watching them burn to ashes, I finally felt a small sense of relief. But Jenna stared at me, her face full of sorrow. Chloe, why did you burn them? Is it the paintings you hate? Or is it me? Ethan, who had always been so gentle and considerate, now looked at me with deep disappointment. They're just paintings. Jenna was being kind. What you did was completely out of line. Apologize to her right now. Watching them stand there, a united front, my heart grew colder and colder. How did I never notice in my past life that my husband and my best friend were having an affair? I touched my belly, feeling my baby move inside me, but I wasn't sure if what happened before was really just because of those paintings. Until I figured everything out. I couldn't afford to burn all my bridges with them, so I just forced a small smile. Maybe it's just pregnancy anxiety. I need to go out for a walk and clear my head. Without waiting to see how Ethan and Jenna would react, I left. The moment I was out the door, I messaged my team at the studio, telling them to keep a close eye on online chatter. Then I went to the hospital alone and scheduled a full physical for myself. My 7-month-old fetus was still quiet and safe inside me. But in my last life, my baby's heartbeat just suddenly stopped, and my own body withered like a dying flower overnight. I had to find a way to save my baby and myself, to avoid repeating that tragedy. The hospital was quiet on New Year's Eve, so there were no lines. I finished a full set of exams quickly. Just as I sat down and took out my phone, I saw over a dozen missed calls from my assistant. My message inbox was full of links from her, littered with exclamation points. Chloe, someone saying your award-winning design was plagiarized. It's all over the internet. And a bunch of clients are asking what's going on. My heart sank. Why was this still happening? I burned those paintings. Was it not the paintings that were the problem? Before I could think any further, a sharp pain shot through my stomach. A warm liquid trickled down my leg. I knew this feeling all too well. My water had broken. The baby was coming. Forgetting everything else, I grabbed a passing nurse and begged for help. Help me, I think my baby is coming early. The nurse panicked and quickly called for help, rushing me to the delivery room. After a long night of struggle, I finally gave birth. I only had a moment to see him, to confirm he was safe. Then an overwhelming sleepiness took over, and I drifted into a deep slumber. When I woke up, the first thing I saw was Ethan sitting by my bed. He looked at me, his expression heavy with grief. Chloe, the doctors said the baby's heartbeat just stopped. We can have another child. The most important thing now is for you to take care of yourself. The last thread of hope in my mind finally snapped. Tears streamed down my face. Why? Why, after getting a second chance, did I still fail to save my child? I gripped the bedsheets, my eyes red as I stared at Ethan. The baby was fine before. Why did he suddenly die? Why? Ethan just looked at me with a pained, stoic expression. But the memory of him and Jenna standing by my bedside, beaming with happiness as they flaunted their own baby, telling me it didn't matter that mine was dead, was still fresh in my mind. Looking at his face now just made me sick. Ethan, just as I was about to demand the truth for myself and my dead child, the doctor walked in. His face was grim. Ms. Thorne, based on your physical results from last night and the latest tests, your organs are failing at an extremely rapid rate. But no matter what we do, we can't find the cause. In that instant, all my strength seemed to drain away. Everything that happened in my past life was happening all over again. I didn't listen to the doctor's advice to stay in the hospital for treatment. Ethan kept trying to convince me to stay, saying it was the only way to get better. But I knew staying in the hospital meant waiting to die. There was nothing I could do there. This time I refused to just sit back and accept my fate. But I never expected that when I got home I'd find 3 brightly colored New Year's paintings hanging neatly on the wall. I froze, staring at them in disbelief. I burned them. Why were they back? Ethan, where did these come from? Ethan paused at the door, then said nonchalantly, Jenna dropped off another set while you were out. She wanted to apologize. I figured we shouldn't make things too awkward with her, so I hung them up. I couldn't stop myself from questioning him. Who told you to do that? Didn't I say I didn't want them up? Ethan kept up his usual agreeable act, but his eyes were dark and unreadable. Chloe, you still don't like them? That's fine, I'll take them down. But the damage was done. What was the point of taking them down now? I wanted to scream, to have a hysterical fit. I wanted to grab Ethan by the throat and take him down with me. But as the words reached my lips, I forced myself to stop. I couldn't let them know that I knew their true colors. My only chance was to act in secret. Chloe, what's wrong? You look so pale. Ethan noticed my expression and reached out to me. I gently pulled away, afraid my trembling would give me away. Making up a quick excuse, I went to my room to rest. I went online and looked up the National Art Exhibition Jenna had participated in during my past life. Sure enough, on the homepage there was a painting with her name on it. The comments below were full of praise, calling Jenna the dark horse of the exhibition. Jenna was also leveraging the exhibition's buzz on social media, doing live stream sales. I clicked into her live stream and saw her glowing face, looking much younger. than the last time I'd seen her. Viewers were asking about her skincare routine, saying she looked like she was 18. Jenna giggled and started promoting a product. I've always used this brand's skincare set. The moisturizing effect is amazing, and it keeps your skin firm. It's safe for pregnant women too. Look, here's my ultrasound report. Jenna held up a report. The date was today, but it showed she was already 2 months pregnant. I asked in the comments, "Are you really 2 months pregnant? You never said you had a husband. I thought you were single." Jenna smiled shyly at the camera, her face radiating happiness. "He's not my husband yet, but we're getting our marriage license in a few days. We want to give our child a stable, happy home." Just then a user sent Jenna 10 rockets, a huge virtual gift. The message read, "You're working so hard, honey." The comment section exploded with fans asking if it was her husband. Jenna smiled and confirmed it. I clicked on the user's profile. Most of his posts were simple daily updates. One video was geotagged to my neighborhood. Another video showed 2 hands I recognized all too well. One was my husband Ethan's, our wedding ring clearly visible. The other was my best friend Jenna's. Their hands were clasped tightly together. Scrolling further back, I saw the account had hundreds of posts, all of him and Jenna. There was no end to them. I stared blankly at the congratulatory messages, feeling like I'd been slapped across the face. Again and again. So my best friend and my husband had been sneaking around behind my back for this long, and I, like a complete fool, had known nothing. The next morning I told Ethan I was checking into a care facility to rest and recover. "I'm glad you've come to your senses. The facility will have better equipment and staff than at home. They can even have doctors study your case and find a treatment." Ethan was completely on board and even offered to drive me there himself. I refused driving off alone, but I didn't go to look at care facilities, as I'd said. Instead, I drove to a nearby temple. My body was already in bad shape. As my organs failed, complications were setting in one after another. It was only with the help of a young monk who passed by that I made it to the temple gates. The moment I stepped over the threshold, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The young monk who had been helping me looked at me for a moment, then put his hands together in prayer. "Amitabha, perhaps you should go to the main hall and draw a fortune stick. The answers to your questions and troubles may be found there." I couldn't help but wonder if he saw something, if it was really that miraculous. In any case, after paying my respects, I went to draw a fortune stick. To my dismay, after shaking the bamboo container for a long time, the stick that fell out was one, foretelling the worst possible luck. My heart sank. Was this the universe telling me I was a lost cause? That I should just wait to die? Amitabha, you are a good person with a blessed fate. There is still a chance to turn things around. I froze and quickly turned around. I saw a kind-faced monk with white eyebrows. I quickly stood and bowed. "Master, is there a way to save me?" The monk led me to the back courtyard. The young monk from before came over to pour us tea. I then learned that this frail-looking old monk was the abbot of the temple. Someone is playing tricks behind the scenes, deceiving the heavens to steal another's fate. You are deeply blessed and were not meant to die, which is why you were given a second chance. I was stunned. I met the abbot's knowing gaze and realized he knew I had been reborn. Was this my turning point? Without hesitation, I told him everything that had happened. I looked at the abbot with hope in my eyes. "Abbot, now that things have come to this, is there any way to fix it?" The abbot pondered for a moment, then took out a talisman and placed it in a small sachet for me. "This talisman will protect your soul and keep you from immediate harm. But you must remember, bring those paintings to me as soon as possible. Only then can I perform the ritual to solve the problem." As I held the sachet, I felt a warm energy flow from my palm through my entire body. The accumulated chill dissipated, and the panic in my heart began to subside. At that moment I finally knew I wouldn't repeat the mistakes of the past. This time it was my turn to flip the script. After thanking the abbot, I rushed home without delay. Before going home, I bought a new set of New Year's paintings, identical to the ones on my wall, intending to swap them with Jenna's cursed ones. I didn't expect to hear Jenna's voice the moment I walked through the door. She and Ethan were sitting in the living room, laughing happily about something. When they saw me, Jenna immediately walked over, her voice full of concern. "Chloe, I heard you were sick. Why aren't you resting? You shouldn't be running around. Ethan told me about the baby. It just wasn't meant to be. Please don't be too sad." She looked so worried, her words full of care for me. I forced a fake smile. "I don't know why I went into labor early. He died right after he was born. It was probably my illness. It kept him from living." Jenna's expression grew even more concerned. Her eyes quickly misted over as she looked at me pitifully. "Don't say such things. How could you get an illness like this, with your organs failing? Why is fate so cruel to you?" If I didn't know the truth, I would have been completely fooled by her acting. Jenna looked me over, her tone probing. "Chloe, is your illness really untreatable? The doctors can't do anything at all." I sneered inwardly, but put on a tragic, helpless smile. "I only have a few days left. I came back to pack my things and move to a care facility. At least I can be comfortable in my final days. Speaking of which, how come you never told me you were pregnant? I had to find out online." Jenna's expression softened, and she touched her belly shyly. "I only found out recently myself. I just didn't get a chance to tell you." "And the father?" She paused for a second, then recovered a sweet look in her eyes. "We haven't known each other long, but we both really want this baby. We're getting married soon." Ethan stood to the side, his gaze fixed on Jenna, full of tenderness. I felt like I had swallowed a fly. I quickly made an excuse and left. A short while later, Ethan came in with several insurance policies, his voice hesitant. "Chloe, you're so sick, and you're getting weaker every day. The insurance we have doesn't cover this sort of thing. Could you sign this contract? I promise I'll give you a grand funeral and take care of your parents for the rest of their lives." I looked at the undisguised greed in his eyes and felt my heart turn to ash. To think the man I shared my bed with could be like this. I must have been blind to marry him, but I didn't let it show. Instead, I signed the papers readily and then produced another policy for Ethan. "Ethan, I'm not going to live much longer. I don't have much to leave you. The payout on this policy is much bigger, so I bought it too. After I'm gone, you'll have some extra money. Think of it as compensation for me not being able to be with you." The only difference with this policy was that if either spouse died, the other would receive the payout. Ethan signed without suspicion, even hugging me emotionally. "Chloe, I'll love you forever. I'll take good care of your family for you." I curved my lips into a smile and said nothing. I packed my bags and moved into the care facility, secretly taking Jenna's paintings with me. Without wasting any time, I took the paintings to the temple to see the abbot. The 3 paintings were laid out on the stone table, one for wealth, one for bearing a son, and one for a long life. The abbot examined them closely, then painted a talisman in cinnabar on each one. He then took them into the hall and lit them with the eternal flame. I was surprised. I've burned the paintings before, but Jenna just brought over a new set. Nothing changed, the abbot smiled. "Do not worry. These paintings are cursed with malevolent energy, allowing them to steal another's fate. That is why you have suffered. The paper is merely a vessel for the curse. A normal fire cannot destroy both the vessel and the curse. I have sealed the curse to the paper, and by burning it with the eternal flame, the malevolent energy will be completely eradicated." Sure enough, as the paintings burned, they seemed to come alive, writhing in the flames. A thin black mist seeped out, trying to escape, but it was trapped on the paper. Soon the 3 paintings were completely gone. Not even ash remained. The moment they were incinerated, I felt an unprecedented lightness in my body. It was as if life force was flowing back into me. My head of white hair instantly turned back to its lustrous black. I was almost moved to tears. The thing that had tormented me for 2 lifetimes was finally gone. Before leaving, I asked the abbot to perform a rite for my child's ashes, and also asked him about Ethan. He likely used some sort of dark object to counteract the curse in the paintings. Now that the curse is broken, he will suffer the backlash. With my questions answered, I bowed deeply to the abbot. You saved my life. I will return one day to repay your kindness. The abbot just chuckled and sidestepped the bow. Everything happens for a reason. I have merely set things right. If you wish to show your gratitude, do more good deeds, and you will live a life free of worry. I thanked him again, deciding that once everything was resolved, the first thing I would do was donate money to repair the temple. Although my health was restored, I didn't go home. Jenna was eagerly waiting for me to die, and Ethan was in on it with her. I preferred to stay at the care facility, with my life no longer in danger. Other things started to improve. The plagiarism accusations didn't have as big of an impact as last time because I had monitored the online sentiment in advance, and because I had my assistant save all the evidence beforehand. The truth was quickly clarified. Now my studio is suing the person who spread the rumors. My lawyer says we have a solid case, and victory is certain. I checked in on Jenna's live stream again. Her painting was still on display at the National Art Exhibition, and her live streaming career was booming because of it. But recently problems had started to crop up. Jenna would often do simple portrait sketches during her streams as prizes for her fans. But lately her drawings had been complete disasters. Her skill level had plummeted, and some people even accused her of using AI to generate the art. The comment section of her videos was filled with mockery and suspicion. Isn't she an art streamer? Why is she selling stuff all the time? Is she that desperate for money? Her drawings have been so ugly lately. It's like she's a different person. Is she not going to explain? Is she for real, or is this just a gimmick? I bet that painting in the National Exhibition isn't all it's cracked up to be. The art keeps getting worse unfollowed. It's an eyesore. The popularity of Jenna's live stream was dropping, and her follower count had stalled, even shrinking slightly. Watching the color drain from her face during her streams brought me immense satisfaction. Perhaps they sensed their luck had turned. Both she and Ethan came to the care facility to see me. I hadn't revealed that my health had improved. I even dyed my hair white again. I maintained the persona of a dying woman and met them in a wheelchair. Jenna's eyes were red, and anyone who didn't know better would think she actually cared. Chloe, you're so thin. Are they not treating you well here? Why don't you come home? Ethan and I can take care of you together. Ethan also looked concerned. Yeah, honey, you're not getting better here. Why don't you come home with us? It must be so lonely in a care facility. I closed my eyes, my expression one of despair. The doctor said, I'd rather enjoy my last moments here than be hooked up to an oxygen tank like a vegetable. Please just let me have some peace. I don't want you to see me like this. When I'm gone, just remember to come get my ashes. After some back and forth, they finally left looking relieved. I watched them go, a cold smile playing on my lips. I can't wait to see the looks on your faces when you find out your little scheme has failed. Jenna's live streaming career was in decline, but it didn't seem to faze her much. After all, her biggest chip was the $1 million painting from the art exhibition. In a few days, the buyer was scheduled to hold a signing ceremony with her. The buyer's company needed the painting for a cultural campaign, and Jenna needed the ceremony to make a name for herself. The signing ceremony was a huge affair, and it was being live streamed. I was watching from the shadows, following the broadcast closely. At the event, Jenna was all smiles, shaking hands and chatting with the buyer. After both sides gave their speeches, they began to sign the contract. Just then, the large screen behind Jenna started playing a video. In a familiar-looking house, Jenna and Ethan were wrapped in an intimate embrace. But the words they spoke sent a chill down your spine. Ethan, are you sure Chloe won't be mad if she finds out we're doing this in her house? Ethan frowned, tilting Jenna's chin up to kiss her. Why bring her up such a buzzkill? That bitch is dying. Anyway, she's not coming back. Are you not happy living here with me? Once she's dead, all her assets and the insurance payout will be mine. I can marry you then, and she'll be out of the picture. Jenna, you know I love you. There was never any love between me and Chloe. I was even willing to give up the baby in her womb. Only you can have my children. What followed was a series of lewd wet sounds. The crowd erupted, the scene spiraled out of control. Reporters smelling a scandal swarmed forward, their cameras capturing every detail of Jenna's reaction. Ms. Tan, is that you in the video? What is your relationship with that man? The man appears to be married. Are you knowingly the other woman? What do you mean she's dying? Is the man's wife in critical condition? Are you involved? Who is the wife? Does she know about your relationship? Jenna's face went white. She dodged the cameras in terror, trying to unplug the screen. But the reporters wouldn't let her go, blocking her path completely. She gritted her teeth and snapped. This is my private life. Someone is deliberately trying to frame me. Today is the signing for my artwork. That's what you should be focusing on. Those baseless rumors are all fake. However, the moment she said that, as if on cue, a clear voice cut through the crowd. You're a morally bankrupt person who acts as a homewrecker in your personal life and built your career on plagiarism. In an instant, all eyes turned to the new speaker. A young woman walked in, her face etched with anger, and threw a stack of papers into the air. The painting Jenna Tan sold today is a copy of my work. She even threatened my family's safety. This is all the evidence of her plagiarism and threats. People began to pick up the papers, murmuring among themselves. Jenna rushed into the crowd, screaming like a madwoman. Don't look, nobody look, put those down. It's slander, it's all fake. The young woman stared at Jenna coldly, her eyes burning with hatred. Fake? You think you can just deny everything and make it go away? I've already posted all the evidence on my personal social media, including videos and recordings. I've also contacted a lawyer to sue you. If you have the guts, you can face me in court. A reporter immediately thrust a microphone at the girl, and she held nothing back. It turned out the girl was an art student. Jenna had seen her graduation project and conspired with the girl's professor to trick her, putting Jenna's name on the artwork. When the girl found out, she was furious, but her professor threatened her graduation. Jenna had also made veiled threats, implying that if the girl spoke up, her family would be harmed. The accusations were well supported, and public opinion turned against Jenna almost instantly. In less than half an hour, Jenna had become a reviled homewrecker and a fraud. The buyer she was signing with angrily tore up the contract on the spot, vowing to sue Jenna and pursue the matter to the fullest extent. At the same time, the art exhibition's official account issued a statement announcing that they were removing Jenna's painting from the exhibition and permanently blacklisting her. The signing ceremony ended in disaster, but the online frenzy was just getting started. Up-and-coming artist, a homewrecker, conspires with lover to harm his wife and child. $1 million painting of fake. Original artist in tears at scene. Topics related to Jenna kept trending one after another. The products Jenna had promoted on her live streams were also exposed for safety issues. Many netizens claimed the products they bought from her were unlicensed junk. The skincare caused allergic reactions, and people found bugs in the food. A massive public crusade against Jenna raged on for days. In the midst of it all, Ethan's identity was also exposed by internet sleuths. Countless people flooded his social media accounts, calling him a cheater and a murderer. Ethan's luck took a nosedive as well. Besides being vilified online, he was dragged into an alley and beaten by unknown assailants. He started making mistakes at work, with one major blunder, costing his company tens of millions. His boss fired him without hesitation, and even issued a public statement, distancing the company from him. Meanwhile, I was living it up, at the care facility, eating and drinking well, occasionally handling important work and feeling utterly content. A few days later, Jenna showed up at the facility again. She stared at me with a twisted expression, her voice dripping with venom. "You knew all along, didn't you? Otherwise, you wouldn't still be alive. You ruined my plan. Why couldn't you just die quietly and let me have my happy ending?" I looked at her and scoffed. "Let you smoothly make money, get pregnant, and run off with my husband and my money? Is that it, Jenna? What did I ever do to you that you had to treat me this way?" I truly didn't understand. I thought I had never wronged her. I always thought of her, treated her like my best friend, only to be stabbed in the back by the two people closest to me. Her face was contorted, bearing no resemblance to her usual pretty self. "You have the nerve to ask me why? You used your smarts and your looks to make me your sidekick. Why should you get to have it all? A great career and a happy relationship, while I'm just your accessory. It's all your fault I'm in this mess. You're the one to blame." I was utterly disappointed. To think I had poured my heart out to her, and this was how she saw me. She was truly biting the hand that fed her. "There's no need to say any more. We're clearly on different paths. If you had said this sooner, I would have stopped being your friend long ago. Let's just never see each other again." But Jenna wasn't ready to let it go. "You made me lose everything. If I can't be happy, you don't get to be either." With that, she pulled out a small knife and charged at me. I watched her, my eyes cold, not moving a muscle. Just as she was about to reach me, a group of police officers burst in and restrained her. I had been playing games with Jenna for a while and had secretly called the police beforehand. Attempted murder was enough to put her behind bars for a good few years. After Jenna was arrested, I bought a new house. I planned to sell the one I had shared with Ethan. Just as I filed for divorce, Ethan came to me begging for forgiveness. He had been fired from his job and had become infamous online. He couldn't find work anywhere and had been living in squalor for days. I shook him off, my voice icy. "You reap what you sow. You cheated on me with Jenna and let my child die. You deserve the consequences. Jenna is carrying your child. Don't you want to marry her? Sign the divorce papers, and you can be with her. I'm setting you free." Ethan blubbered, trying to claim that Jenna had seduced him and that he was the victim. "Chloe, she bewitched me. Jenna knows dark magic. It was all her fault. I love you," I sneered. "You love yourself." I showed no mercy. I hired the best lawyer to make sure Ethan left the marriage with absolutely nothing. I just never expected to hear news of his death. A few days later, Jenna had applied for and was granted bail because she was pregnant. Ethan went to confront her, and during their argument, they both fell from a building. According to the security footage, neither was willing to let the other go, preferring to drag each other down to their deaths. I felt nothing. In fact, it saved me the trouble of a lawsuit. Now it was my turn to take Ethan's inheritance and start my new life. The end. A few days left